Hello, students. Welcome to the online classes once more. So, students, in our last class, we completed the story The Happy Prince by Oscar Wilde. Today, we will try to attempt the questions. That means we will discuss the answers of the questions given at the back of the story. So, let's start. Think about it. First question. Why do the courtiers call the happy prince the happy prince? Is he really happy? What does he see all around him? Students, I will just help you to frame an answer. I will give you the important hints and rest you have to do. When the prince was alive, he was happy inside the palace. No sorrow was allowed there, and in fact, he was happy. So the courtiers called him the happy prince. Here you can change the paragraph for the second part of the question. After his death, the statue of the happy prince was erected on the highest level of the city. But now he did not have a human heart. His heart was leaden, Leaden, leaden. And he could see all the sufferings of people around him. Now, in form of a statue, the happy prince was very sad to see human sufferings around him. Change the paragraph for the third part. The happy prince could see people suffering around him. He saw a poor seamstress and his ailing son, a poor playwright who was trying his best to complete a play, but because of cold and poverty, he could not do that. He saw a poor little girl in fear who had lost all the matchsticks to be sold, so on and so forth. Moreover, the sparrow also narrated the sad stories of poor people, beggars, and homeless children. So, students, you can elaborate it with some more sentences. Let's move to the next question. Why does the happy prince send a ruby for the seamstress? Answer. As the statue of the happy prince was erected or built on the highest platform of the city, he could see all the sufferings around him. One day he saw a seamstress living in a small house in a little street far away from him. He was describing the condition of the seamstress and her ailing son to the swallow. He said that she was embroidering flowers on a satin gown for the queen's maids, but she was very worried about her son who was suffering from high fever. She did not have enough money to give him medicines and food, particularly oranges which he wanted. So the happy prince told the swallow to take out the piece of ruby from the hilt of his sword and go and drop it there on the table of the seamstress. So you can add a bit about what the seamstress could do with the help of the ruby. Second part of question number 2. What does the swallow do in the seamstress's house? Answer. As told by the happy prince, the swallow took out the piece of ruby from the hilt of his sword and flew over to the seamstress's house. There he entered the house through the window and dropped it on the table near the thimble of the woman. While coming out of the house, the swallow also went near to the ailing son of the seamstress and fanned the boy's forehead with its wings to make him feel cool. You can add, okay, students, you can add something from your own here also. Next question. For whom does the prince send the sapphires and why? Answer. Students, one thing you must remember here that the tense of the questions is present tense, but you can attempt it in past tense because the stories are normally in past tense. So even if you write in present tense, if the question is in present tense, it doesn't matter. But generally we should attempt it in past tense because the stories are always told in past tense. In other words, the incidents that had taken place in the past are narrated in the story. So you can do it in the way it is required. Answer to the question. The eyeballs of the statue of the Happy Prince were made of sapphires, a very precious stone. In two occasions, the Happy Prince told the swallow to give both the eyeballs to two persons. In the first occasion, the sapphire was given to a poor playwright, and in the second occasion, the other sapphire was given to a little match girl who had lost her matchsticks and was in fear to be beaten up by her father as she would return home. In the first case, the happy prince found that the playwright was very poor. He did not have food to eat and warm clothes to wear in the cold. So the sapphire would help him to buy both food and warm clothes so that he could complete his play in time and give it to the director of the theater. Next question. What does the swallow see when it flies over the city? Students, there are many things that the swallow saw flying over the city. You can write from the beginning to the end whatever it saw in the city. The swallow saw the beautiful things as well as the ugly ones. So, students, you have to write about both the things. You can write about the scenes shown by the happy prince also, but make paragraphs. So, let's move to the next question. Why did the swallow not leave the prince and go to Egypt? Here, students, you have to write about the changes that take place in the swallow right from the beginning till end. Here, students, we find that in the beginning, the swallow was a very practical one. It did not give any importance to the emotions of the happy prince, but slowly and steadily it started giving importance to what the prince used to see and started loving him. And eventually, the sparrow became very sympathetic and showed its pity on the happy prince. Then you can conclude your answer by saying that as the happy prince became completely blind, the sparrow didn't want to leave him and put away his idea of going to Egypt and meeting its friends there. The last question: what are the precious things mentioned in the story? Why are they precious? Students, here we have to write about the two things that we get towards the end of the story, and these two things are the leaden heart of the happy prince and the dead body of the swallow. These are the two precious things mentioned in the story. And these two things are precious because the leaden heart of the happy prince always wept for the poor and suffering people. And the swallow sacrificed its life for the happy prince who always used to help the needy ones. So, students, we have come to the end of the questions given at the back of the story. If you read the story and understand it properly, you can answer any questions from inside also. Don't think that these are the only questions required. There can be questions from inside the story also. There is another exercise. Students, you have to discuss here instead of writing. The little swallow says, "It is curious, but I feel quite warm now, although it is so cold." Have you ever had such a feeling? Share your experience with your friends. Students, here, warm doesn't mean that we feel through our skin. Here, warm means a beautiful feeling that we feel in our heart. The little swallow helped the prince in giving the poor people the gift that he had given. After doing his work, the little swallow felt warm. So, whenever we do something good, particularly for others, we feel a warm feeling inside us. If it is a sacrifice, then it is more so. Students, I would like to tell you the difference between help and sacrifice. When you help somebody without losing anything, that is merely a help. But when you help somebody losing something, that is sacrifice. And this something can be time or other valuable things. So here we find that both the happy prince and the swallow were sacrificing many things to help the needy and the poor ones. And I believe you have also sacrificed at times something to help others. And when you do so, you have a very warm feeling inside you. That is what is being talked in this question. So you can discuss this with your friends or with your family members as well. So, students, we have come to the end of this beautiful story, and in our next class, we will be doing a new one. I will provide you with some written materials in this class, and thank you for being with me so long. So, students, thank you so much. Meet you in the next online class.